I've got some breaking news for you. This is a behind the line exclusive. Now, you're not going to hear this anywhere else. You're damn sure not going to hear this truth from anyone in the mainstream media. This is an exclusive that you're only going to get from Uncle KC. Are you ready? The American media is completely useless. The mainstream media is the biggest threat to freedom here in America. These people should be ashamed. These people should be embarrassed by their behavior. If you are collecting woke welfare in the mainstream media, I would encourage you to find a respectable job. Find a job with some integrity, because lying for a living, it is absolutely repulsive. You can make a strong case that the most useless media outlet in the country is the Cemetery News Network, or as the handful of people who still waste their time watching this garbage prefer to call it, CNN. The month of October, it should have been a great month for CNN. It was a great month for Fox News. Last month, ratings at Fox News increased 30%, with a 40% increase in the key 25 to 54 demo. Makes sense, right? We were a month away from the election. October was the month that cackling Cam Harris finally decided to stop hiding. She put on her best fake smile along with that hideous cackle, and she spent the entire month humiliating herself while speaking to the media. Even the softball interviews with feminine dudes like Shannon Sharp. Hey, it's me, Shay Shay! Even the softball interviews were very tough for cackling Cam to handle. Hey, Your Highness, it's me, Shay Shay. What is your favorite letter? Oh, Shay, you can't stump me with gotcha questions. I like all 72 letters of our alphabet equally. I'm a firm believer in equity. Cam loves all the identifiers who are voting for her, even those who are no longer with us. Last month, Fox News averaged 2.8 million viewers in prime time, almost 3 million viewers. Now, you could combine the ratings of every show in CNN's primetime dump, and you still would not reach 3 million people. The month before a controversial election, where one of the candidates is a proven ratings draw and the other candidate is so incompetent she probably struggles to draw her own name. When the eyes of America are focused on the news, CNN somehow managed to find a way to decline in the ratings? How? How in the hell can that happen? How can CNN's ratings go down when more people are paying attention to the news? Maybe, just maybe, it has to do with the fact that people no longer trust CNN. Maybe it has to do with the fact that CNN treats you like you're stupid. When you combine the lack of trust with their condescending arrogance and a complete lack of star power, you are left with a struggling network where mainstream media careers are on life support. If you haven't already, make sure to like and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter at KC_BTL84. Last month, CNN's ratings, they declined 11% when compared to last year. In the 25 to 54 key demo, ratings declined by 19%. CNN averaged 532,000 viewers during the day, with an abysmal 830,000 in prime time. This was supposed to be the time of year where hope was going to be reestablished. This was supposed to be the time of year where CNN shows that they can still perform. If you can't draw ratings before a presidential election, when the hell are you going to be able to draw them? It would be like the NFL seeing double-digit declines for the Super Bowl. It's equivalent to what's happened the last few years with the NBA Finals. For 3 years, ratings at CNN have steadily declined. We have heard every excuse. We have seen multiple changes in management. Yet for some reason, no one seems to be capable of saving this dump. I'm about to show you a prime example of why CNN continues to struggle. Last night, The Trumper was speaking with Tucker Carlson. Now, this is the same Tucker Carlson that the woke media was predicting would disappear from the mainstream once he was fired from Fox News. But unlike people like Bomani Jones and Jamel Hill who struggled to maintain relevance without the platform of the mainstream media, hell, Bomani Jones, he wasn't relevant when he was collecting woke welfare at ESPN, much less having to build an audience on his own. But since Tucker Carlson left Fox News, he launched his own media company, and he seems to be just as influential as he was when he was working at Fox. Last night, Tucker, he is speaking to the Trumper. For some reason, they started talking about Bruce Cheney, or better known to his family as Dick, which is strange, very strange. The Trumper, he was talking about Bruce, and the conversation shifted towards his insufferable daughter, a potential nominee for the upcoming second annual Huge Embarrassing Failure Awards. One of the most miserable people in America, and definitely one of the most disliked women in the country. She is so disliked, she lost the Wyoming primary as the incumbent, which is something that we just don't see very often. Of course, I am talking about Liz Cheney. Vomit. Like her daddy Bruce, Liz has a strong passion for conflict. She loves the war. Ooh, Iraq, Afghanistan, Israel, Ukraine. It's beginning to look like Cheney Christmas. Wars on every shore. This Cheney family obsession with war, I think it's very strange. I searched the military history of Richard Cheney, or Dick as his family calls him. I could not find any record of Dick Cheney serving in the military. Strange, but that's okay. I mean, I could be overlooking it. I could not know where to look for it. But I'm sure his daughter Elizabeth is a proud military veteran, right? So, I looked for records of the Cheney family lizard serving in the military. Army, couldn't find anything. Navy, nothing. Marines, Marines, forget about it. That's cool. Maybe Liz Cheney served in the Coast Guard, the National Guard, the Color Guard. Imagine my surprise when I could not find any record of Liz Cheney serving in the military. Now, with that being the case, why does Liz Cheney have an affinity for war? That is the same question the Trumper had. That's the point that Donnie was trying to make while he was speaking with Tucker Carlson. Watch for yourself.
His daughter is a very dumb individual, very dumb. She's a radical war hawk. Let's put her with a rifle standing there with 9 barrels shooting at her, okay? Let's see how she feels about it. You know, when the guns are trained on her face. You know, they're all war hawks when they're sitting in Washington in a nice building saying, oh, gee, let's send 10,000 troops right into the mouth of the enemy.
It's obvious what Trump's doing here, right? I mean, we're all adults. He is speaking metaphorically. He is joking while making a point. Donnie doesn't literally mean that he wants to see Liz Cheney on the front lines. He is just questioning her obsession with war since she doesn't seem to have ever been involved in one. Why is she okay sending your kids overseas when she's never made that sacrifice herself? Now, that's how normal people look at this. Let's take a look at how CNN chose to interpret this conversation. I'm going to show you 2 clips. One features Jim Acosta. The other features some unknown woman who I believe hosts the Morning Dump at CNN. The same Morning Dump that Donnie Lemon used to host before he told Caitlin Collins, Katie Roo! Katie Roo! Before he told the Roo to quit interrupting him because she wasn't a star and he was the star of the show. CNN, they chose to keep the Roo and promoted her to prime time while Donnie is still collecting unemployment and trying to launch his new show here on YouTube and failing miserably. But even with that being the case, it's abundantly clear that CNN made the wrong choice here. Donnie might have struggled in the ratings towards the end, but at least at one point, the Lemon was drawing good ratings. Caitlin Collins, she has been polishing the turd in prime time for 18 months, and she can't draw a horsefly. This is how CNN chose to cover the Trumpers' remarks. Watch for yourself.
Former President Donald Trump is escalating his violent rhetoric, suggesting one of his most prominent critics, the former Congresswoman Liz Cheney, should be fired upon. Let's see how she feels when the guns are trained on her face. Let's sit with that for a moment.
He should not be saying that Liz Cheney should be sent off in a situation where she should be shot. I mean, can't we just all agree that that's out of bounds? At what point does a Republican member of Congress call out Trump for this kind of language? I just don't get it. At some point, doesn't any of this matter? Isn't this important? That a candidate for president is saying that Liz Cheney should be shot right before an election? I just don't. I respect you, Congressman. You and I have had lots of conversations. I just don't get it. It's outrageous.
Is it any wonder why this network is struggling? CNN knows exactly what Trump meant. More importantly, they know what he didn't mean. But they gotta pretend to be outraged. They have to pretend Trump was being literal because their only goal is to indoctrinate you. And they think that you're stupid enough to believe it. You know, we used to live in a country where comments like this were no big deal. We used to live in a country where adults could easily discern between fantasy and reality, between metaphorical and literal. Today, everyone wants to pretend to be outraged. Everyone wants to pretend to be offended. Mainstream media, they want to pretend to be appalled over harmless remarks. The problem for the media, and especially for CNN, it's not working. People are no longer biting into the shit sandwich. This is why legacy media is struggling. This is why more and more people are getting their news from dumbasses like me instead of the so-called experts in the mainstream media. I am not always right. Hell, I'm not even close to always being right. We will see next Tuesday if I'm right about this election. I think the Trumper easily wins. I could be wrong. But whether I am right or wrong, I'm always honest. I don't come on here every day and intentionally lie to you. The two clips I just showed you from CNN, that was blatant lies. They knew exactly what they were doing. They knew they were lying to you. They just don't care. These are paid propagandists. It is their job to lie to us. You know, in the next 5, maybe 10 years, I don't think cable news will exist. Fox News will be fully digital. MSNBC, they will probably be on Peacock, but where does that leave CNN? CNN already tried to launch a streaming service. You guys remember CNN Plus? Don't feel bad if you don't. It only lasted about 3 weeks. What does the future look like for CNN? If they can't draw ratings during an election, if they can't attract an audience when the network is basically free, where will CNN be when cable no longer exists? You tell me, would people be willing to pay for access to CNN? Could CNN cease to exist in the next 5 to 10 years? I don't see how the brand can be revived. The reputation of CNN, it has been so tainted, there is no amount of polish that can cover the stain on this rancid turd. Also, give me your thoughts on the dishonest coverage at CNN. Sound off in the comments below. Like, subscribe, share the video. Appreciate your support. Best way to contact me is by email at btlkc84@gmail.com. I'll see you guys tomorrow.